Welcome everybody, it's really nice to have you here today. I look forward to being able to present to you today the Create 2017 to be what you want. This is a day for you to experience what real goal setting is. So, who am I? I've been around a long time in Brisbane in business. I started my first business on my own in 1989. It was a personal development natural therapy centre. From there in 1995 I started Connections Unlimited, which I still have now. So I've been around teaching people about business relationship marketing, networking as people call it, since the days when networking was called, if you use the word networking, it meant computer peripherals. There was no such thing going back in the 90s, early 90s, no such thing as networking as we know it today. All our businesses come that way. So can I ask you, how many people here have their own business? How many people here are actually working for somebody else? Just gives me a little bit of an idea so I know where I'm pitching it. I also beginning of last year, started an On Purpose Life. And an On Purpose Life is a personal development program and a personal development business. I do both personal development and business, professional business. And the reason I bring them both together is because I believe that there is no difference in who you are professionally to who you are as an individual. Because if you're going to be congruent in today's society, you have to be seen to be both. You can't be one and go home and bash the other half. Because it's a different world now to what it used to be out there. Because of the internet, everybody can find out everything about you they want. So you have to be very aware of how you portray yourself and how you show yourself out there. But you have to be congruent with that as well. So it is just easy to be who you are, because you can't play the two faces anymore that you used to be able to play. All the things I've learnt over the years with a lot of hard work, as people in my age group did, because there was no such thing as being able to do your own marketing back in the olden days. Prior to the internet, really until probably 2000, we did it ourselves, and we did it the hard way with just hard work. Now it's all made for you and it's easy. And of course now we have people who are branding specialists, and they will brand you, whereas once you just did what you did and hoped for the best. So business is very, very different now, and because I had to do the hard yards over many years, I learned how to, through hard work basically, with support of other people, how to do a lot of different things in business, a lot of different areas of business. Now you don't have to do that. Now we are lucky enough in business to have specialists in every field. So it's up to us to find those people, and you can do that through networking, word of mouth marketing, very easily by finding the right people that you can connect with, that automatically can support you in your business and you can support them in theirs. And this can be done through joint venturing, referral marketing. There's a lot of different areas now that it can be done very easily. I love what I do and I love working with people. And for me, when I see the light go on, I get excited. Probably more excited than they do. Because for me to watch people grow and go where they want to do and achieve the goals they set, I feel is really exciting, because people don't understand how to set goals. And this is what today is really all about. And if you're going to set a goal, we have what we called, they used to be called SMART goals. I now talk about SMARTer goals. And I learned about goal setting from Jim Rohn, and I was very lucky over 4 years to be working with him when he would come to Australia and promoting him out here. And Jim Rohn was known as the business philosopher of the 20th century. So I don't know how many of you here know who Jim Rohn was. I know Rachel does, because we work worked together with him. Jim Rohn, the information he gave out is there forever. It will never change because it's basic business. So he talked about the SMART goals. And to have the SMART goals, you have to know what those SMARTER means. Because every goal you set, and we're going to work on this, you're going to do a lot of writing today. And I explain in, what these things are one at a time to you. And how to be able to know that the goal you actually set covers all those things. Because on New Year's Eve, we will create a goal we're going to achieve. And it might be, I'm going to lose 50 kilos in the next 6 months or whatever. That is not realistic. It's not attainable. And there's a whole lot of other, so it has to be, you've got to be able to measure it, you've got to make things that are attainable, so you're going to go, it's got to be specific the way you're going to put it out. So everyone has different goals, personal and professional, that they want to achieve. I like people to do both, so you will be setting a personal and a professional one today. And if you're not in business, you have 2 personal ones. Because I want you to set them and go through a process with me to make sure you achieve it. To create a goal and get the goal, you've got to write it down. And you've got to go through the SMARTER goals. And every goal, as I say on the bottom there, it must have a what, who, where, when, why, and how aspect to it. Because if your goal doesn't have all those areas, you're not going to achieve it. So you must be specific. I put an example at the bottom, the same example all the way, explaining what it means to be specific. You can't say, I just want to do this by whatever. There's more to it then. So I put here, I want to create and present a 9-to-5 training day for 100 people on Saturday the 6th of June 2017 at wherever, on whatever the subject is, and have a profit of. So it's very specific, it's measurable, it's achievable or attainable because of the time. We'll go through them individually. So I've actually been specific by what I've marked in blue. So you will find I will have marked them in blue as we go. So a goal isn't something you waffle about. It's not going to be vague. It's going to be something really, really clear. You can open your books because I go through, and I'm not going to read the writing that is covering all those areas. That's covering all those areas are written down here for when you go home. Just what they mean. So you've got that for yourself, for your own use. Once you have a goal that is specific, you've got everything written on it, we have to make sure it's measurable. Now, making sure something is measurable is making sure that you're going to know you're going to have the outcomes you need to make that happen. So to have the outcomes that you need, I've got in here the number of people I want to have there and the profit I want. That's how I'm going to measure it. Because it's really important. You can measure what that goal is going to be. Then you'll know whether you've achieved it or not. To make it attainable and achievable, it's exactly the same. I was going to create something and I've got a date. I've got that 6 months out, I've got time. And that's what's really important, that we actually make the time for it to be achievable. Because if it's something that you're going to do that's going to take a length of time and you want it as we tend to do with when we're goal setting on New Year's Eve, you think of something quickly you want to achieve, or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And that is okay because we will be doing a bit of that today, but we will be looking at a whole lot of things that you want to achieve between now and the day you die. So we are going to be looking at that later on. But, and they don't have to be specific. But when you set in a goal and you have a time for it, you know you're going for it, as in a business or personal goal, you have to go to more depth. You want okay with this so far? You've got to be realistic. It's a bit like me saying I'm going to lose 50 kilos in the next few months. It's not humanly possible. Unless I cut a whole lot out It's not going to happen. It's got to be realistic. So whatever your goal is, when you're going to write your goals, you're going to make them very, very realistic. So for that to be realistic, I'm going to create it, but I'm going to have the 100 people, I've got a date, and I've got the profit I'm wanting. So I have to know what I want from it for it to be actually realistic. I find with a lot of people when they goal set, the goal setting is very, very unrealistic. And it's because they think this is what they want to have. They just don't understand the process of making it real for themselves. So it's important when you're planning also that you're very honest about what you're doing, honest with yourself, because they're your goals. Nobody else even has to know what they are, because it's your plan of what you want for your life. Years ago we found when men used to retire at 50 and 55, within 10 years they would die, because men have, at that time, they worked their life and then they stopped and they had nothing to do. Number one, they drove their wives crazy. Number two is they had nothing to look forward to. And I see this in people that I know now, who are around my age, who have no idea what they want in their life. They could have another 20 years of life. They're not going to live that long if they don't have something to work toward. So it doesn't matter what age you are, how young you are, or how old you are, there's got to be something in front of you. And the bigger it is, the better, because if it's a really big goal, you at least have got something that you're launching out toward and going to get. If you don't have it in your mind that you want it, it's never going to happen. So I want you today to dream very, very big. Time. Time is really important, and as I've heard when I'm going to do it from a time perspective, what the date is I want to achieve something by. If anyone's doing, even in masterminding, every goal we set, every stage of every goal has got a completion date. If you don't have a completion date, it's on the cards, you're not going to get it. The one wonderful thing with travel is that you've got to book your tickets, or you've got to do something. I found when I started goal 7 years ago, I put all these things I wanted to do, and I'm going to take you through a process similar today, and I just didn't believe that these things could happen. I had no idea how they were ever going to happen. But once I put them down on paper, I can go back into my days when I was working with Jim Rowan, and basically everything I wrote down, 100 goals, I have achieved virtually every one of them in some form, because I wrote it down. I'm somebody who talks a lot, so if I'm going to do something, anyone who knows me well knows I talk about it all the time, because that makes me accountable and mean it happens. Person that I know, I think other than me, who actually even dreams it harder is Christina. Her goals are so enormous, and I have no doubt she's going to achieve more. That is quite incredible, because she really understands projecting out there what you want to get. And this is what I want you to learn to do. So whatever it is you want, the absolute impossible, I want you to think about it. I want you to say, I want that. Don't know how I'm going to get it. Don't know how I'm going to afford it. Don't know how all these other things are going to happen. But it's interesting. And just to go as a side link, even with my daughter, which is quite interesting, at the end of our street, or in the next street where we lived, there was a house she used to walk past all the time, opposite where your family lived. And she would walk past this and say, that's going to be my house one day. I'm going to have that house. It's interesting, she now has a house that has the same things just about, or the ability to have the same things as that house. Rachel is my daughter, by the way. And it suddenly hit me that what you'd always wanted in that house, you really have now. That she dreamed, she was talking about it from about 8 or 9 years old. She was talking about this house all the time. I'm going to own that one day. And she has achieved it with what she's got now, that is so similar in so many aspects and will give her basically exactly the same as what was in that house. So if you can, if you're someone who talks about it, talk about what you want. It's really important. And don't be afraid to go too far out. And that was something Jim Rohn always used to say, the importance of completion dates. I want this in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2, well, in those days we used to go, I think we used to go 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. 10 years is a long way out, and there's a lot of changes in that now. So I tend to bring it back into the 3, the 6, into smaller chunks. Every goal you do or you have also is going to have aspects of it that you're going to have to do along the way. So if you set a goal, I want to, something very small. I want to do something tomorrow or next week or next year. That's something I can do and I don't have to think about it. I just do it. It's a habit or whatever. That's not a goal. A goal is something that you put outside that's got a bit of time to it. And to achieve that goal, you're going to have to do steps all the way to achieve it. So each little step you do is a goal in itself. So if I want to go to Europe, there's a whole lot of things I have to do to make that happen. But I've got to start planning here and break it into lots of steps. I've got to decide I'm going, where I'm going, who I'm going with, why I'm going, what I want to achieve from it. But then you've got to book the tickets and you've got to, are you going with someone else? Are you going alone? Do you have to have a passport? There's a process that goes with that. Each one of those are a little goal that's going to take you to your big goal. So if you've got a really big goal you want, you're going to break it. Yes, I want that. But because it's not going to be out in the future sometime, it doesn't mean you don't start working on it now. Because as soon as you can plan in your mind what are the steps you need to do to go there, you won't go there. A lot of people when they goal set decide they want to have something, but they forget that they've got to do something to make it actually happen, and then, well, they didn't get it. But they hadn't planned for it. So any goal worth having, there's a lot of plans as you go. And being timely is really, really important. I've added E and R to the bottom of mine because I believe that you need to have emotion and excitement around any goal you want. You've got to want it. You've got to want it badly enough that you're going to do what you have to do. Because no goal worth having, if it's a big goal, is not going to have its ups and downs. And the ups and downs it's going to have, there's going to be times you want to give up. It's the same in everything. I'm sure everybody here who owns a business knows very well that there are times when they think, this is just too hard, I can't do it. And you find a buddy who's going to say, come on, let's get going. But it happens to everybody. Business is like that. Good days and you've got bad days or months or weeks or whatever, as a lot of you business owners in the room know. So if what you're wanting to achieve in your business isn't giving you enough, there isn't enough emotion in it, and it doesn't excite you, don't do it. You've got a goal and it doesn't excite you to do it, forget about it. It'll be something else. Or maybe re-look at the way you worded it or the way you're going to do it. That can change also. So that emotion is really important. So as far as doing a training day, for me the emotion, excitement is in the creating, the presenting, and then the profit that's going to come with it. The final one is reward and recorded. You've got the same outcome as you get with the emotion and excitement, because it's the reward of that, but it's also the achieving of it. The reward for there is the dollars, recorded is the creating. So for me to put on a day like today, it just didn't happen. It was something that I had to think about. I had to do a PowerPoint presentation. I had to do workbooks. I've also got a podcast webinar that I've done on it. So it is something, and every time I run it, I change it anyway, because I see things I like better, because it's just me. Well, just ask, how many people here have done this before? You have, Ada, haven't you? You've never done mine? Oh. You're the only one who's repeating. Oh, yes. Usually there's quite a few hands go up. So that's interesting. Linda's the only one. And actually, Jackie's done. Jack's done it before, haven't you?
In masterminding, but not.
Oh, in masterminding. So you've done the process as Ada. Okay. Because you said to me a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or something. I still use your.
Yes, I still use your template.
It's refined a little bit. That one name template, which you will see. Because it's the way you go about setting that's going to be important. And when Jack said that to me, I thought, oh, that's good, because people still use the work. People do go back over the workbooks, but of course they get behind. Okay, so you must reward yourself. It's really important. Okay, I'm going to do something. How am I going to gift myself for what it is? Now, if you're going on a holiday or something, of course, there's your reward. But if you're doing something, you need to have something for you. When we do, and do it all the way on little goals. So if I'm going to be doing something, as I work through the small goals, so it's something I'm going to want over the next year or 2 years, as I complete each section, maybe in 3 months, 6 months, I'm going to reward myself something, and I know what it is, and I'm going to have that recorded. Because I want to know, what is it I'm going to give me for getting this far? If you have a reward in there that means something to you and is going to give you excitement, you're going to work that much harder toward it. So something you're wanting in your life, you use those things as a reward. And it can be, depending on, they can be big or little. They can cost nothing or cost a lot of money. It really doesn't matter. It could be as much as having someone who will take your garbage out every week. Or someone who's going to do just some little things, or you could want to just go and have a massage or go to a spa, but you may want to gift yourself with something big with a go around the world trip. Doesn't matter what it is, but always have something that you're going to give yourself something for achieving, because you will achieve better. If you turn over to page 4, the model of goal setting, I want you to start writing, please. I want you to put down 3 big things that you've already accomplished that you're proud of in your life. What are you thankful for this year? How far have you come and where are you going? And if you've never done any goal setting before, maybe you don't know yet. Knowing what matters to you most and who's important to you and who are you important to. This is your own stuff. Nobody else needs to know what you've written here, but it's important you start asking yourself these questions. So what unique experiences set this year apart from all the years previously in your life? But at the end of a year, there's got to be something that has set this year apart. Now, as I said earlier, when you're goal setting, I'm not only talking about people who are in business. It doesn't matter whether you're in business. I believe no matter what you're doing in life, it is necessary that you're looking forward. That's why people, when they retire, if they don't have things to look forward to, they don't survive. They die. They usually have heart attacks. But goal setting is really important. I don't care, you can call it whatever you want, but you have to have dreams and aims and want to go somewhere or be somewhere, or you'll find this out a little bit further when we go on. I don't see any difference between business and non-business when it comes to goal setting. If they're business orientated and you really want to go, you're more likely to go there. Because you're going to have people around you who are probably going to push you to go there, or you have to, or you, for whatever reason. I want you to write down things that you want in your future. So 3 months, months, 1 year, 5 years. You can start writing down those things if you want. From tiny little things to big things, whatever you want. I'm talking about life. What do you want in your life? So think of it as a bucket list. You can see up there, it's going to give you examples. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all, as Helen Keller said. How many people have seen the movie Bucket List? So all I want you to do is to write down everything you want to achieve or you want to do. Now a lot of people will say, well, I don't know. And I say, well, are there books you want to read? Are there people you want to meet? Are there places you want to go? If you want to go to 5 countries, you've got 5 things. Where do you want to visit? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to learn? What sort of contributions do you want to make to the world? Or to other people? Who do you want to meet? Quite often people get asked, especially from business circles, if you could sit with anyone, who would you want to? Well, I even say that personally. If I could be given one person to sit with, and at my age now, it would be my grandmother. I would give anything to sit with my grandmother for an hour. She's been gone a long time. Well, I do get her. She does come. She comes, not going. Oh, well, if it's my time to go, I'm happy to go. I don't care, really. I'm a great believer at the end of every day I'm ready to go if that's what I think to do, so for me. So what events do you want to participate in? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? To be who you are, you have to do so. To change who you are, to be someone else, you need to do certain things. You're stumped, Jack. Okay. Look up here, this will help. You want to travel? Oh. What countries do you want to travel to? Start writing it down. Start writing it down. Who do you want to meet? Where do you want to go? What books do you want to read? What speakers do you want to see? What courses would you like to do? And I'm talking personal business, doesn't make any difference. We're now going to go on to looking at doing some vision boarding. And you'll notice the last page the second last page in your book is actually the barbed wire grid. So, got one? That's the last page. Now I'm going to give you all a big piece of poster paper, and you can pick the colour you want. And it's going to be important that in that you take note of the barbed wire grid, because it'll just help you with the placing of where you want to put things on your poster paper, or it will also help you to remember the things that you need to, because you're going to get some magazines and you're going to cut the pictures out of those magazines, or you're going to pick words out of the magazines, or you're going to write. You've got some pens there, but you're going to build your own board. You'll take it home and complete it at home, because it does take a while to actually do. And it's up to you. You can stay on and do it if you want, or you can take it home and finish it. But it's a good idea if you have it and you know all the different areas of life that you need to be looking at, that you want to actually create a chart on. So I will give those things to you, and of course computers and everything can be put away, because you're going to need the space in front of you to actually have the poster board, and you're going to go through the magazines. This is a process that you don't need to do a lot of thinking about. I want you to go through the magazines very quickly in your own mind, so that you can just rip pages out. Just rip a whole page out. You see something catches your eye, you like, rip it out. You can then cut it up later. Don't think about what you're putting out, because intuitively your mind will make you, you'll see something, you'll see a word, you'll see a picture or something, just pull it, just rip it out. Don't stop and look at the page and start to read the story, because that's not what it's all about. The faster you do the process, the better the process will be in the end, because you're going to wonder, why did I put this here, and the story will come out. There will be a story in it for you the faster you do it. So at that, because I'm going to be turning off the computer, I'd like to say thank you to you for being here today and participating. I hope 2017 is going to be great for you. If you want any help, please ask me. My details, you've got my details. If I can help you in any way, I'm very happy to. So thank you for being here, and I hope you've gained a little bit of something about how you can plan your next year and start to look at the types of goals that you want to achieve in greater depth than you've ever looked before. So thank you.
Thanks, Dave.